Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Data Dialogues podcast. Today, we are chatting about top 10 things in the Victorian home that could kill you. So stay tuned. I am your host, Larissa Begood. I am head of marketing at PGM. And with me today, I have Kristen Jones, who is marketing manager at PGM. And welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me. I am excited, but also a little bit scared of what these things are going to be in this episode.
We are actually going to travel back to the Victorian era, which is approximately like 1837, 1901. And it was a time of booming innovation, but also pretty unthinkable home hazards. So check out this list of the top 10 things in the Victorian home that could kill you. All right, take it away, Kristen.
All right. Starting at number 10, Victorian fashion loved bold colors, especially a vivid green seen in gowns, carpets, wallpaper. One of the most popular dyes to achieve this was called Shields green, and it was made with arsenic, which we all know is a deadly poison. Despite the growing reports of mysterious deaths, it remained a trend. Even Queen Victoria had green wallpaper in every room of Buckingham Palace. Just breathing the dust from wallpaper or carpets released these arsenic particles. By the 1850s, an estimated 100 million square feet of arsenic-laced wallpaper lined British homes. The press did eventually double down, and they dubbed the color Drop Dead Gorgeous as death tolls mounted. Shields green was banned, and Queen Victoria quickly had the palace renovated, stripped of all of that green decor.
So the next one, at number 9, is about the Victorian bathroom. Cleanliness was something that was pretty important to the Victorians. The Victorians pretty much all but invented the modern bathroom. And the idea of a dedicated bathroom, really, it just became popular at this time. Before that, baths would happen in kitchens, or think of boiling or heating up some water near a fireplace. So it wasn't really in this modern room just dedicated to bathing. So the Gaff Bath was the crown jewel of Victorian hygiene. And so this was a bath that was made of cast iron and heated by gas burners underneath it. As you can imagine, it did not have a modern day thermostat telling you how hot it was, no temperature control. And the result is some people like literally boiled to death in their tubs. That is like gruesome. And get this, so even the toilets weren't safe. So there was like the early sewage systems were pretty poorly ventilated, and methane gas from decomposing waste would build up in the pipes. So under the right conditions, a spark could literally cause a deadly explosion. That is just, I don't even have words for that.
Yeah, I'm speechless. Some of these, I feel like we're already at the top of the list. We're not even close to number 1, and we are already experiencing the knowledge of these really weird facts.
Okay. Yeah, that was only 2 down. We have more to go.
So now we're at number 8. So gaslighting, it was a revolutionary innovation in Victorian homes and businesses. It extended work hours. It obviously boosted productivity. Obviously, when you have light, you can see what you're doing. If you don't have light, you go to sleep. But it was dangerous, though, and deadly. Early gas had no odor additive, so leaks were undetectable. Victorians used natural gas, like we use today, and coal gas, which was far more dangerous. And that contained methane and hydrogen, which is extremely flammable, sulfur compounds that had toxic fumes, carbon monoxide, which is odorless and deadly. So the risks obviously included house fires, explosions, poisoning, and suffocation. Just a really bad time to be inside the home.
The next one is about painting the way for lead in Victorian England. Lead paint, unfortunately, was introduced into residential interiors, though. So this was in items such as walls, woodwork, wallpaper, and even children's toys. Victorians did not realize that the lead was toxic. There was, of course, as you can imagine, a lot of pretty tragic consequences. There was a lot of mysterious child deaths that were reported in newspapers. They did not know it was caused by the lead paints. Thankfully, an investigation linked the cause to the lead paint.
During the Victorian era, Britain faced a massive housing crunch. Cities were rapidly expanding to accommodate that booming population. So their solution? It was tightly packed apartment buildings, and they were built taller and narrower so they could fit more people. The architectural shortcut was steep, cramped staircases, and they were built quickly and cheaply with low quality wood. Often no handrails, poorly fit, and dangerously steep. And the steepest stairs led to the cheapest, lowest apartments. It says thousands died from falls on these staircases. The most common fatal injury was broken necks. So the eerie part is many of these same staircases still exist today.
This next one is a beauty trend. In 1862, there was a British inventor, Alexander Parks. He created something called Parkinson, which is one of the first man-made plastics. It was marketed as an affordable alternative to some of the beauty items and combs that use things like ivory or tortoise shell. So cool. There's a less expensive version, but what made Parkinson so innovative? It was moldable, durable, and could mimic some of these nice luxury materials that everyone could not afford, but at a cost. It was extremely flammable. And this was something that was not made known to consumers. One of the most horrifying things was that Parkinson actually had a tendency to spontaneously combust. So not only was it flammable, imagine you wearing it in your hair next to an open flame source or something pretty hot, and it would just explode. There were numerous fires and even deaths reported as a result.
Okay, number 4, the women had killer beauty products, literally. So I guess this is piggybacking off of the last one now. There's a list here of deadly beauty products that were often found in the Victorian bathroom. Eye makeup was made with mercury, lead, and crushed beetles.
Wow.
Dilated eye pupils were the rage back then, so eye drops made from belladonna, which is known as a nightshade and very deadly, was something that was popular. The price of beauty, right?
Get this next one.
Weight loss products back then. If you want to lose weight, not a problem. Just swallow a live tapeworm. Sold jar packed for easy use. They'd feast on everything you ate, so you wouldn't get the calories, but it would ultimately lead you to becoming nutrient deficient.
Next up, at number 3, Ladinum, which is the Victorian's aspirin. So laudanum is one of the most common Victorian medicines and actually one of the most dangerous. So this was a pretty potent mix of opium and alcohol. It was sweetened then with things like honey, spices, chloroform, ether, and even mercury. This quickly went awry. This was marketed mostly to women and promised relief for headaches, cramps, and just general hysteria. But this was unfortunately or ironically often used to treat symptoms that were caused by toxic home products like arsenic wallpaper. Addiction was pretty rampant. Again, it had opium and alcohol in it. And while relief did come fast, so did, of course, dependence. And overdoses were pretty common due to the easy access and minimal regulation.
We're almost at number one. It just keeps getting worse. The number two spot. 1880s, women could go do their shopping and come home with goodies like candies that were made with potassium chlorate, a chemical that's also used in matches. Powdered lemonade was sold in cans, which could contain antimony that the acidic lemonade powder would dissolve, making it toxic. Soothing syrups for babies, too, like Miss Wilmslow's, I guess that was a brand back at the time, often contained morphine. Okay, now so we're starting young too with these addictive products. There were toxic cleaning products too, such as household cleaning powders that contained carbolic acid, which is fatal if ingested. But here's the thing, we all know, okay, we're not going to eat our cleaning products, right? But the packaging was nearly identical to the food packaging at the time. So mistakes were made.
Okay, this last one is Victorian Moms. They were judged by child survival rates. There's a popular book that was written on how to run a Victorian household called Mrs. Beeton's Household Management. In this book, on top of everything else, some of the advice was to drink beer to help with lactation. About that time, there was also a shift to bottle feeding. There was a lot of problems with this design, and they were eventually known as murder bottles. That's terrible. There was a really poor design. They were hard to clean. They had a slanted shape that trapped some of the old milk, and it was very porous, which harbored bacteria. So this resulted in thousands of infant deaths from infections and diseases.
What a whirlwind of items that we went through on that list.
That is obviously a good reminder that what's in the home actually matters. We do provide some pretty amazing insights into property and home data. And some of our insights can help brands with their marketing efforts, but also insurers. So home insurance providers and underwritings understand different data points, such as interior and exterior features that might signal renovation or different risks in the home. Predictive insights about the household's life stage or perhaps buying behaviors. And we can also create custom property segments based on the audience that you're trying to reach. So when it comes to homes, Victorian or modern, the more you know, the smarter your marketing and your safety can be. So if you're looking for data-driven audience insights, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Another fun episode of Data Dialogues. Stay data-driven, stay creative, and we'll see y'all next time.